and that sense of pride of the nation has been restored. It's been given back to the Costa Rican fans, and you can see what it means to them. But the players as well. I always put myself in the position of a player. How would they feel? That mental side of stepping onto the pitch today would have been so difficult, but the confidence that's been built, the tears of joy after the game, it meant so much to the man. I'm really pleased for them.
It's a great story for Costa Rica, small country as you've mentioned, but, okay, they've got the big name player in Navas, and he's won the Champions League multiple times at Real Madrid, but in terms of the outfield players, they don't have any superstars. Almost all of the team played for Costa Rican clubs. You can just imagine the scene in that country now, on the big stage, having been frankly humiliated 7-0 in the opening game. National pride restored for Costa Rica. This is why we love World Cups. This is the magic it brings.
And Stephen, if you were a player and you were playing for Germany, how would you feel right now?
Oh, I'd be wondering what happened. I think we spoke before about the Germany game. Germany just weren't clinical. They didn't finish the game off. They had opportunities to kill Japan off. They didn't do that, and Japan sucker punched them and hit them on the beak a couple of times. They did actually have more opportunities in the game, but Germany should have won the game. But that's the great thing. That's the beauty of football. It doesn't always work out with the stats people the way they like it to, where the teams dominate. I think Germany had around about 76% or 80% of the possession in that game. It counted for nothing. But today, we expected Japan to win, and they just didn't live up to the hype.
They didn't live up to the hype then. Japan, Germany, Spain coming up later. Stephen, Connor, thank you. Costa Rica with the first upset of the day then, beating Japan by a 1-0. It's Belgium against Morocco next, and that's all to come. After the latest news on 5 Live with Luke Wilson.
Take the World Cup with you, Qatar 2022 on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Online safety laws are going to be updated to make the encouragement of self-harm a criminal offence. The government said the changes had been influenced by the case of Molly Russell, a 14-year-old who ended her life in 2017 after viewing harmful content on social media platforms. Mark Scott is the chief technology correspondent for the Politico website. He says he's unsure how effective the law will be.
This is the government trying to show that it is strong, that it can clamp down on this behaviour, particularly when it targets children. But in fact, this is a very complex area with lots of grey space in between where a lot of predators and others will continue to act. And frankly, it's going to be very difficult to enforce, both for a regulator and for a government eager to act.
The BBC has been told there have been more than 50 diphtheria cases among asylum seekers who have arrived in the UK this year, compared with just 3 in the previous 12 months. It's been confirmed that one asylum seeker who died after being held at the Manston Centre in Kent had contracted the bacterial infection. Most people in the UK are routinely vaccinated against it. The Transport Secretary, Mark Harper, has rejected suggestions the government is blocking efforts to reach a pay deal to prevent further rail strikes. He said there had been a lot of progress in talks between the unions and train operators, and it wasn't in the government's interest to jeopardise that. Mr Harper also insisted the rail companies had the freedom to negotiate a settlement with their workers. The train operating companies and Network Rail will have the ability to reach a deal, but we have to be able to have that reform package negotiated, because it's only that that throws up the savings. I do not have a bottomless pit of taxpayers' money to throw at this problem. Rescue teams in Italy are searching for around a dozen people who are missing after a huge mudslide on the island of Ischia. Rivers of mud and debris surged down hills after a deluge of rain yesterday. Homes and cars were buried, and at least one person was killed. And there has been a wave of demonstrations across China against the government's strict anti-COVID policies, with some protesters calling for the country's leader, Xi Jinping, to step down. Large protests have been reported in Shanghai, Nanjing, and other major cities. There's your headlines. It's 12:02.
Formula One. It's the pinnacle of motorsport, but it's just as famous for its high-octane extravagance, huge sums of money, and spray champagne. In 2007, an improbable, lo-fi crime nearly brought the high-octane world of Formula One to its knees. Disbelief, it's only word. Spygate drew in some of the most powerful men in the sport's history. It will haunt the people involved for as long as they live. All set against the backdrop of Lewis Hamilton's record-breaking debut and his ferocious rivalry with Fernando Alonso.
It was like a bomb that exploded within the team.
I'm Pete Tong, and this is Sport's Strangest Crimes, Spygate. Listen on BBC Sounds.
BBC 5 Live, the FIFA World Cup.
And welcome back to 5 Live Sport, where already today Costa Rica have beaten Japan by a goal to nil, scoring with their first shot on target of the tournament.
Ball is scooped forward.